different varieties of bowling from their overseas bowlers as well.
Yeah, and just from Chris Lynn's point of view, you're getting an opening batsman who is maybe slightly different in his tempo from a Rohit Sharma and a Quinton de Kock. So, and at the Wankiri as well. I think he'll enjoy the ball coming on to the bat at the Wankiri. So that's a good acquisition. And just to add Nathan Coulter to that, with Jasprit Bumrah there already, you've got Trent Bolt there now, Mitch McClenaghan. So some really good seam bowling resources, and the backup of it. And Mumbai are generally smart. I mean, they Dubai smart.
They always are, and it's intriguing how they actually approach auctions. It's almost looking like the backup for the backup. You know, if you've got a little bit of a purse, you don't necessarily have to spend all of it. But you're actually looking at backups for backups, and that's the luxury that they actually have in this auction.
Yeah, they've got resources, and I'm sure they've made their mistakes along the line historically, where they've gone for players that may not have given value for money. So I think each auction that has passed, and you can testify to this, Sanjay Banga can testify to it as well, they get smarter. Karen Pollard's been there, and I've just listened to him talk over the years about the system within Mumbai Indians. It's brilliant, and when you're coming off with an experienced captain like Rohit Sharma, champions, I don't think there's much you need to touch unless Bumrah gets injured. Then you've got guys to back him up.
And that's what I meant. When you're Mumbai Indians, you've got every base covered. You've got some strong Indians and strong overseas players. You know, this auction, when they entered this room, it was just a different atmosphere for them. There were one or two. They were happy probably with Chris Lynn, with the fact that it was the first one that went. It was the first name on the list.
And so far, they've just bought two players. You know, they bought Chris Lynn, they bought Coulter. And what I like about Mumbai Indians is that whenever I had this conversation with Rohit Sharma, and he always used to say that he prefers playing two overseas fast bowlers. He's not happy playing one overseas fast bowler, because he feels that, a lot of the guys are domestic players, domestic batsmen, and it becomes harder for them to score freely against overseas fast bowlers. So he always wants, and that's the reason he'll have a Coulter as a backup for Lasith Malinga, for a Mitchell McClenaghan, you have Trent Bolt. So they plan quite a bit, and don't be surprised, because they're still not out of it, and they might just spring a surprise from the domestic player category, from the uncapped player category, because they have a pool of talent scouts who scout the country. Somebody like Rahul Sangvi, somebody like John Wright, who comes from New Zealand. They do a lot of scouting work, and because of that, they are able to unearth talent. I mean, if you look at Krunal Pandya, if you look at Mayank Markande, you look at Rahul Chahar, all these players have gone on and progressed to play for the country. So that's the kind of talent surge that they do, and all credit to them.
Yeah, there's something that you can expect to actually have a role to play. The accelerated round comes around as well, really. But their battle with Chennai Super Kings for Nathan Coulter, it was one of the top stories of this auction, to just see Mumbai Indians and CSK with the sort of rivalry that they have. What have been the top stories of the day? Let me remind you.
Aussie ace of pace Pat Cummins becomes the second most expensive player ever at the Vivo IPL auction. After a bidding war between RCB and DC, KKR swoop in late and buy Cummins for a whopping 15.5 crore. Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings battle for Aussie speedster Nathan Coulter. But with CSK already having spent a lot of cash on Sam Curran, it's Mumbai who win the race, buying Coulter for 8 crores. More Aussies in big demand at the auction. Glenn Maxwell makes a grand return as Kings 11 buy him for 10.75 crore. Aaron Finch gets bought by RCB for 4.4 crore, and wicketkeeper Alex Carey goes to DC for 2.5 crore. But Chris Lynn gets a big pay cut as Mumbai Indians buy him at his base price, 2 crore. Virat Singh, Priyam Garg, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Karthik Tyagi and Ravi Bishnoi. Some of the young uncapped Indian players whose lives have changed after getting bought for more than 1 crore at the Vivo IPL auction.
That's the beauty of these Vivo IPL auctions. You're making dreams, especially for these youngsters, Their lives are set after this, and it's very, very intriguing to see how they enter the auction. Now, when you talk about the big bits of this Vivo IPL auction, have a look at that. 15.5 for Pat Cummins. Glenn Maxwell again gets one of the biggest bids. He's got 10.75 gone back to Kings 11. Chris Morris, RCB went all out for him, and actually one of two players, only two that they managed to get so far. Sheldon Cottrell has also gone to Kings for 8.5, and of course then intriguing with Nathan Coulter-Nile, where Mumbai Indians going ahead and getting that. But yeah, it wasn't just Pat Cummins actually really for Kolkata Knight Riders. It was also taking Morgan in really early, and this is where Bish was telling us earlier how Sanjay has been so prophetic looking ahead to this auction, because before the day started, you said, even though Abhishek Nair denied it, he came in our studio and said, no, we're not looking for any other captain, but you said they're looking for that sort of person, and then most likely will go for Morgan.
And he's a World Cup winner. I mean, he's won the World Cup for England. He's led from the front, and he's gone through a lot of ups and downs in his career. He's been through some of the IPL setups as well. So he knows what this high pressure tournament is like, because it goes off very fast. And if you started to win, it is very easy. But if you face a couple of defeats, then obviously all the stakeholders start to question every decision that you take, and that's where somebody like a sane head, somebody who's gone through those pressure situations at international level, being in a decision-making capacity helps to be in the leadership group.
The fact that Brendan McCullum couldn't lay a claw really on him, they're kindred spirits, aren't they? That must bite him.
Surely. I mean, because he's new to coaching, and somebody like Brendan McCullum, yes, he has been a fantastic player, fantastic captain for his country.
And they built up that. Morgan has confessed that in speaking to Baz McCallum, I think after the 2015 World Cup, helped him to form his scenario and the way that he wanted his team to play.
Yeah, that's probably the fearless way they wanted to approach the game, because that's how they played the 2015 World Cup when McCullum and Hassan were in charge of the team, and that's where somebody like a Bayliss and Morgan got together and sort of identified along with Andrew Strauss as to how they're going to approach the next World Cup. And maybe all these conversation of how a particular player's mindset is, or how a particular player or a team's culture is, into way which they want to progress. I think all these conversations and the players feeding off one another helps, and that's where a thing like IPL bonds international players big time.
It's a melting pot. All the guys, man, they come back and they talk about how much they've learned from sitting next to this player, that player in the dressing room, and forming tactics to take international.
Absolutely, and we can understand that, especially for someone like him, Morgan, who's so incredibly experienced, as you mentioned, a World Cup winning captain, to now enter a new den, to enter the Knight Riders den and just have that sort of experience. I'm sure he's quite excited. So two of the biggest buys for KKR are returning Knights. First, let's talk about Owen Morgan. He brings with him leadership qualities and an ability to bat at the top. Is that what you were looking at? How does he fit into the scheme of things now?
He fits in brilliantly. First of all, it's great to welcome him back home. I remember in 2011, which was my first auction, we picked Morgan, and then he was with us for 2-3 years, during which time we won the championship. And